The following has been brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca.
Yo, this is the law. Yo, this is the law.
Foremost, thank you so much to everybody who is joining us right here on the Law Live Audio Wrestling. Each and every time we do one of these segments, it's so much more fun because we are being brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca. If you haven't had a chance, I mean, go check it out now. All of the greatest stuff from Rock Solid Wrestling is over there. You can use promo code The Law and it will get you exactly nothing. But nonetheless, go over to RockSolidFanClub.ca. Join up now. You won't be disappointed in it. All right, Brady, let's talk a little bit of MMA, shall we? Because this past weekend we saw a new welterweight champion in the UFC, which, can I just say first and foremost, screwed my parlay.
Yeah, that was actually you ran a pretty good parlay throughout the entire night.
Bro,
I don't know what's more disappointing, Bobby Green's performance or Leon losing the belt. But we'll get into the details and what we think about that. But yeah, we have a new welterweight champion that fucks your parlay up.
we have a new welterweight champion, and it scares me. Here's why it scares me.
Oh, boo.
Welterweight division. Zoom in. Listen to me when I say this, ladies and gentlemen. The UFC welterweight division is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. It's finished. And you're saying to yourself, what do you mean? They're never going to get rid of it. Some of the toughest guys in the world have come out of this division, right? I mean, because when you're talking the welterweight division, you're talking George St. Pierre, right?
Yeah, Canadian boy.
You're talking Kamaru Usman, right?
Not Canadian boy.
But now you're talking Belal Muhammad.
Yes.
And if you looked at the thumbnail, we said, is Belal Muhammad the new GSP? Now, some of you may be saying, how could you even possibly put those two together?
He's the new Groucho Marx. The fucking face on him.
Dude, I can't remember who it was that put the tweet out. And forgive me for not remembering. I'm sure if you guys all remember or can find it, let me know who I'm not crediting here.
CTE's a motherfucker.
It is. But somebody put out the tweet that says Belal Muhammad looks like the reason that I get stopped at TSE.
Jesus fuck.
I'm not even kidding. And we're talking somebody like a Michael Bisping or something like that playing jokes. You know, I'm not saying it was Bisping. Don't get it twisted.
Are you sure it wasn't Nick Ring?
Well, you know, who knows?
Bryce Mitchell or
who knows? But listen, congratulations first and foremost to Belal Muhammad for winning the championship.
That's
a lot of the parallels they're saying is very much like Leon Edwards, right?
Mm.
You know what I mean? The guy who never got a shot, never got a chance, finally got his chance, capitalized on it. But now that he's capitalized on it, do you think that he's just going to, as I steal another quote, crotch sniff his way to win after win after win?
I'm going to answer that question. But before I do, Bobby Green's poor arm is permanently wiping his ass. I hope he's okay. I hope his arm is okay. Bobby, what the fuck, man? I was wrong. Patty ran through Bobby like a piece of chocolate cake. Yeah.
I said Patty was too big. I said it. And
he ran through him like a piece of pizza, man. He ran through him. Sorry?
Worst part about that was like you get choked out and go to sleep, and then your arm gets broken.
He ran through him like a submarine sandwich after a long day of work in a concrete.
Bro, he ran through him like Indian food through me.
He ran through him like we're going to run through the rest of this real quick. So let's get back to the welterweight division. So something that Patty might be in very soon with the size of him, because Patty looked like a fucking monster on the weekend, and not just in performance, but just physically looked huge. He was twice the size of Bobby.
Yes. No doubt.
So if he ever does enter the welterweight division, is he entering the most boring division ever? Because you're right, it's always been kind of a hugfest division.
Hold on. That would bring up a very good, interesting fight, if you ask me. Could Paddy Pimblett make the welterweight division great again?
Paga.
Paga?
I don't even. I got nothing. The only thing I got is this.
Oh, geez. Okay. Anyways, listen, the welterweight division. What are we doing?
Okay, so welterweight division, people. Let's go back to GSP for a second. So everyone's like, GSP is the greatest of all time. Well, one of the reasons why I'm a huge Nick Diaz fan is currently, and back in the day, he was the best. So when GSP was considered the man and he was holding people on the ground for 5 rounds for 25 minutes, Nick Diaz was over in Bellator and Elite XC and sometimes even Pride, whooping motherfuckers and having real fights. The fights that we pay to see nowadays, Nick Diaz was doing 15 years ago when GSP was on top. So Matt Hughes, GSP, Frank Trigg, there's a whole group of guys that were in that division that were just kind of, looking for the choke. And that's all they were looking for, armbar or choke. And if they couldn't get it, they'd hold you down. Jake Shields, perfect example. John Fitch, King Fitch.
All nut huggers, all crotch sniffers. I don't know if I would throw Frank Trigg into that mix, because if you said rear naked choke around him, he would tap.
Jeez. No, Frank was good in his day. He just
I'm not discrediting his skills. He was very good, and he'll be the first one to tell you, though, as soon as that choke got even close to his neck, he was tapping. He had to go to psychologists, like sports psychologists, for a long time, because it said it gave him that feeling of he was drowning. He didn't like that instantly, right? And I've said for a long time, there's 2 things that's going to happen. Either you're going to get out of the choke, or you're going to go to sleep. Nobody at that level in that cage is going to end up dying. I'm sorry.
So welterweight, when we go back to it, who do you think is the most dominant welterweight champion of all time in the UFC then? If it's not GSP. Like a real outside of GSP, who's the guy?
But I mean, here's the thing. If you're talking about over time, I mean, GSP has to be the guy.
Well, we know that.
Right? Otherwise, you go to Matt Hughes. And
you go Matt Hughes?
And who did Matt Hughes get it from?
It wasn't BJ. No, who the fuck did Matt Hughes? Matt Hughes took it from.
Come on, you can do this. Carlos.
It wasn't Carlos, was it?
Carlos Newton.
It was Carlos Newton? I guess, it was that triangle fucking gimmick where they both went out. Yeah.
Where Matt Hughes was out,
right.
fell forward. Yeah. Carlos Newton knocks himself out. Referee sees that. So this entire division has been screwed. I'm telling you. Maybe Carlos put the Malouk. He put the Malouk on the entire division on his way out.
You know who's number 2? Matt Serra.
Okay. Matt Serra.
The original meatball.
Matt Serra got really lucky with a fluke shot on GSP. Okay, then how come nobody else has been able to do it? And how come Matt Serra on the immediate rematch, Matt Serra gave up to knees to the body?
It was bad. The second night, I remember exactly where I was. I was in some rando's apartment that was friends with a mutual friend of ours. So I went there after a wrestling show. We had just got done. We got back to this place. We get to this party, and we're pushing everybody out of the way so we can get the fight on. And just as we're getting it, Matt's walking out with his belt. And everybody in the entire party is like, GSP. And I'm looking around like, you guys, he's about to go to sleep again.
No.
Fuck, I was
you ever see those videos of when dudes are like coming in and laying carpet, and they got that tool where they smash their knee into the side of it to stretch the carpet into the corners?
Yeah.
That's what GSP was doing that night.
There's people watching that just randomly stumbled upon this, and they're like, he thinks Matt Serra is the best fucking clown. I'm like, no, I don't think he was the fucking best. No, Matt Serra is awesome, but no, I would say Kamaru Usman probably earned that title. Tyron Woodley could be considered up there as well because of his title run. But I would say GSP is probably the number 1. Maybe Matt Hughes would be put up there as well. Yeah, it's never been the most exciting division. It's been one of the most promoted divisions, but not the most exciting division. I think the light heavyweight and heavyweight division is the most exciting in my books. But
because it's a weight class. It's a weight class that deserves to be promoted. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Typically, these should be your most athletic guys, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, that and middleweight should be the most athletic. In between 155 and 185 seems to be the most athletically gifted overall. Yeah,
Right.
core strength and such.
So if you think about it, let's get back to your guy then. If your guy, Nick Diaz,
yeah,
so good, how come he couldn't even beat Carlos Condit for the interim title?
because Carlos Condit was a fucking monster at that time. He was like a gate. He's the unspoken gatekeeper that people don't ever really bring up. Carlos Condit was a fucking killer. Like, in no pun intended with the name Natural Born Killer, but he was a monster. He gave everybody trouble. Carlos Condit, you know what? We're stating it here. Carlos Condit, one of the best welterweights of all time.
Absolutely. No
Top
doubt
10.
about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But
yeah. But that's why I would think so.
Here's what I think it is. Because if you think about it, when now everybody's at the point now where everybody's looking at Belal and they're going, oh my God, he's so boring. That's why he didn't get a title shot. It's horrible the way that he just holds these guys down and ground and pound and like just is, controls them for the entire fight.
He just looks like a guy that smells like cabbage.
Well, see, that's just bigotry, and people are just basing it on the way that he looks instead of the way that he performs. But if you think about that performance, dude,
bigotry. What?
It's the same exact. That is the same exact move that GSP would do, and everybody was GSP is the greatest fighter in the world. But all he did was hold you down and love on you for 3 to 5 rounds.
Bigotry.
And I'll even go you one further. If you ever saw GSP in one of those fights where he actually got into a fight, he was getting touched up the entire time. He's getting beat up. He's getting punched.
But the GSP that fought Bisping was a fucking beast.
Okay, that was the one that was gone for 4 years? And then came back to fight Bisping. You know what you can do in 4 years, right?
You can clean out your system.
You can clean out your system of everything that you ever possibly had in there or whoever. And then you can also just fill it full of all of the gear that is undetectable and do all of the working out. Go get all of the stem cells. Go do whatever you got to do all over the world, right? 4 years is a long time, bro.
There is a very, very, very teeny tiny percentage of people that got that joke that you made in there. There's barely anyone on the planet, less than 40 probably, maybe 100, depends on how busy he got. But holy shit.
I'm just saying 4 years is a long time. And then he became a nightmare for the UFC because he's like, oh, I won? Deuces, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I think he was back on the shit. I think he was worried about they were going to test for whatever the hell he was taking at that point. Yeah.
Sure, because 4 years of going through cycles and HGHing it up or whatever, and the training. Don't get it twisted. Just because you take the stuff means you have to be able to perform as well, and you have to put in the work. Now, a lot of stuff he may have been taking because he had been dealing with a lot of injuries for a very long time.
Look at in the words of the Diaz brothers again, they're all on steroids.
Everybody.
They're all on fucking steroids. All of them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So where do we go with Belal? Because it sounds like they're going to put him in a match with Colby Covington. And if that happens, I think they are starting World War III inside of their community. I don't think the fans want to see that. I don't think we want to see that. That's going to be semi-main event. It won't even be co-main.
Oh, no.
That'll get a fight on the card.
It would get a fight night. It would get
Abu
a fight night, like a big one. There's no doubt about it.
No one wants to see that. But would you take Belal and put him against a killer, right away, and just say, you know what, Leon, take some time off. You've been going for a minute, and just put Belal in there with a fucking monster of a human. Maybe put him in there with Chandler because Chandler's got nowhere to go.
Put him in
Right.
there with Shavkat. Shavkat's the number 3 guy. He's the one deserve. If it's not Kamaru, Usman, then it's
It's got to
Shavkat,
be Shavkat. Yeah.
right? Because number 4 guy is Colby Covington. Number 5 is Jack Della Maddalena. Number 6 is Gilbert Burns.
They're not going
You
to
know
put
what I mean?
Belal in there with Jack because he's not
Right?
going to last longer than 13 seconds with Jack, and he's not going to take that fight. He knows he's not. Jack
Yeah.
Della Maddalena would rip Belal apart.
But realistically, if he's the champion and Leon Edwards doesn't have that immediate clause in there, then you put him in. It has to be Kamaru because Kamaru is the guy, right? So
That
if
would
it's
be-
not him, then it's Shavkat. If it's Kamaru, I think the Belal Muhammad does the same exact thing that he did to Leon Edwards. I think he does that same thing to
I agree.
Kamaru Usman.
I agree. And I think the division is stunted right now. And people could be pissed off and saying, you guys are just hating on Belal. We're not saying he's not talented. It's just the talents that he has doesn't translate very well when you're buying the pay-per-view at $80 American is what they're charging now. So
when you've got champions like Alex Pereira, right? And Tom fucking Aspinall, right?
yeah,
And,
can we talk about Tommy
and
for a minute?
Sean- and even Sean O'Malley, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Calling
When-
out Connor yesterday.
Yeah, when you've got guys like that are like, yo, this is an entertainment business. Belal Muhammad has absolutely zero fucking desire to make this an entertainment business. He's out here to win a title and keep his title.
Mhm.
The problem is that's boring as shit. And you got to be careful because the UFC also recently sent a message that says, listen, we don't care if you're fucking undefeated. We don't care if you even win your last fight on your contract.
Peace,
If you're a
Mokaev.
pain in the ass and you
Uh-huh.
just do boring shit and all of your lead up stuff to this fight is more trouble than it's worth, we're not going to renew your contract.
Later, buddy.
Also, apparently, rumor has it that he had been already contacting the PFL.
Yeah. He knew.
Before his last fight was up.
Well, look
right?
where PFL is based.
To see what they would pay. And
Yeah.
so, UFC called his bluff. They called it on. And it was like, nah, we don't feel like dealing with you.
After that performance and all the bullshit leading up to it, the fact that they didn't even throw a punch, more than 3 punches, or it was 9 punches or something like that, 3 for each man that had landed and 3 that were just kind of found air in the first round. It was like, all right, guys, this is Manel. You can tell his toe and his foot was bothering him the whole fight, and then he broke it. So it was probably like a stress fracture going in there. It snapped real quick on him just trying to I don't know what he was doing. He was flinching. He was doing something, right? He was just he was trying to get out of there for a second. His toe just it was horrible to watch. But yeah, I don't know.
I saw more punches thrown in Anderson Silva Talis Leites fight.
I see more punches thrown in the Houston Alexander Kimbo Slice fight, motherfucker.
I throw more punches than that in my sleep.
I threw more punches at my wait. Okay, so let's talk about Tom Aspinall real quick before we roll this ride out here.
Sure.
Tommy Aspinall, we have been saying this since before he even got the title. He is the best heavyweight in the world. Good luck. Unless they had Francis Ngannou right there, I don't think there's a person on the planet that fights Tom Aspinall. There's people saying that he is ducking Cyril Gane. I don't think he's ducking Cyril Gane. I just don't think that's the fight. I think the fight is the winner against Stipe and John Jones. Don't even think that fight's going to happen. And I would just like to see him fight John Jones.
I think that everybody's going to say that he's ducking people in there because they want to see him fight. Here's the thing. Tom Aspinall is almost too nice for his own good. You know, when after he wins that fight and they're like, you got anything to say to John Jones? Hi, John. No disrespect. I really like you. You know, I got no hard feelings, but I just think that I'm better than you. That's not how you get the fights in the UFC. He needs to go out there and be like, John, you're a bitch.
It's coming.
You're a straight up bitch who's been ducking me. Stop trying to go fight a guy who hasn't fought in forever. The division doesn't sit there and wait on you. You did really well in the light heavyweight division. Absolutely. That was your division, but this is heavyweight and it's mine, and I will smash your brains in.
So if John was to leave the club for a second and go fight Stipe, and he runs through Stipe, let's say it's John Jones' perfect world. He runs through Stipe. No, but just
cares.
Feel me for a second. So let's say he runs through Stipe and just makes quick work of him. How quick do you think he's going to be before he fights Tom Aspinall? It'll be another fucking 6 years.
years.
Exactly. So just get off of the John Jones thing. If it happens, great. You're already the heavyweight champion. Don't let the interim bullshit fool anybody watching or fool yourself, Tom. You are the champion. You're the best in the world. Until Francis comes back or until you go somewhere to fight Francis, you're not going to see anybody else better than Tom Aspinall anytime soon.
Wow, that's a hell of a matchup. Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou.
We've been talking about it since October.
I think Tom Aspinall smashes him.
I fucking think so too. Did you watch Francis on Joe Rogan recently? That man is shook.
Yeah, well, he's living a different life now.
Yeah, he's living the high life. He's about to head into Lamborghini yachts like Conor McGregor. They're going to meet each other for lunch out in the middle of the ocean somewhere. But all right, Chris,
All right.
well, that's it for me. You got anything you want to plug before we roll this ride out?
Now, you know where to find us, ladies and gentlemen. We're always
Here.
ready. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Go check out a bunch of the other videos. If you like this one, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Share this with all of your friends. Leave us a comment or two. That's always helpful as well. We like to engage and have a little conversation when we're not doing this for you. Also, be sure to check out rocksolidfanclub.ca for all of the stuff pertaining to Rock Solid Wrestling. If you look hard enough, you might even find some footage of me in there. Remember, use the promo code THE LAW for absolutely nothing. So until then, remember, Brady, man, do not be Curtis Blades. Remember, tuck your chin.
Law music.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.
Be sure to click that subscribe button, click that like button, and tell all of your friends. Share it with everybody. We appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us. So let's make this thing even bigger.